I was 27 when I walked away from it all. My husband, our 3 children, and the life we had carefully built together. On the surface, everything looked ideal. A stable marriage, 3 beautiful kids, and a cozy home in a quiet neighborhood. It should have felt complete. But inside, I was slowly fading. Every part of me had been swallowed by routine. I was somebody's wife, somebody's mother, but I couldn't recognize who I was beyond those roles. My husband wasn't unkind. He never shouted, never raised a hand. He was a decent man, steady, dependable, always around. And maybe that was a problem. He was simply there. There were no long talks late into the night, no spark that made my heart race, no fire left in our connection. It felt like we were simply co-managing a household, not sharing a love, in the quiet hum of daily life. Folding laundry, stirring pots of dinner, while our kids bickered in the background. I started to wonder, is this really it? Is this all there is for me? Then came the man who shifted everything. He wasn't necessarily better than my husband, but he was different. He listened to me. He made me laugh. When we talked, he'd lightly touch my arm, and it felt like I mattered again, like someone actually saw me. I didn't set out to fall for him. It began with casual coffee, then lunch, then evenings spent in his car, talking for hours. Before I realized it, I believe I was in love, or at least what I thought love felt like. Looking back, I think I was just desperate to feel something real, something alive. I still remember the night I left. My husband was upstairs putting our children to bed. I packed a small suitcase, wrote a note, and placed it on the kitchen table. Then I walked out, never looking back. I didn't say goodbye to my kids. I convinced myself that leaving without a scene would make it easier for them and for me. I told myself they were young, that they'd understand someday. I told myself I had the right to finally choose me. That first year tasted like freedom. I chased the life I thought I had been missing. I traveled with him. We stayed out late. No diapers to change, no school runs, no bills piling up on the kitchen counter. It was light. It was thrilling. I felt like someone new, but then reality crept in. The man I gave up everything for wasn't who I imagined. When I needed connection, he was distant. He craved attention, but rarely gave it. He cheated on me more than once. That fiery passion I had mistaken for love faded faster than I expected. Within 5 years, I was alone, older, weary, and carrying a mountain of regret. I tried reaching out to my children, but they were no longer the small faces I used to kiss each morning. They were teens, then grown-ups, with their own stories and wounds I had left behind. I wrote letters. I sent gifts. I attended birthdays and graduations when they'd allow it. Sometimes I'd get a hug. Other times, they barely looked me in the eye. I took what I could get. Their father never said a word to me. Not once. He didn't yell. He didn't ask why. He never demanded answers. He just closed a chapter and sealed it shut. He raised them alone. He carried the burden I dropped. He built a life that had no space for me. And he never turned back. For years, I told myself I understood, that I didn't blame him. But now, 20 years later, I realize I do. Not for the silence or the coldness, but for never giving me the chance to explain. For never looking me in the eye and letting me say I was sorry. For never once asking how I came undone. For making me feel like I simply vanished. Today, I live alone. The man I left them for is long gone. I see one of my children during the holidays. Another occasionally sends me photos of my grandkids. The third hasn't spoken to me in nearly a decade. I don't know if I'll ever be part of their lives the way I wish to be. And even now, after all this time, I still think about their father. I wonder what goes through his mind when he sees my name on their phones. I wonder if he remembers the woman I used to be before I lost myself. I wonder if he ever loved me enough to be this wounded. But more than anything, I wonder why he never said a word. Not one. Because after all these years, through all the distance, all the heartbreak, and all the silence, his silence is still the loudest thing in my life.